the families that have not been identified, and as of yesterday, they are still coming out to say they don't receive the funds. So the work of this committee is to also identify those that were overlooked in the support process. The team is open to receiving input from any aggrieved members of the public who wish to submit their petitions directly. So this team that you are putting in place, the members of the public, my encouragement is that you do written submissions where you feel like this function, then you receive submissions and give the direct petitions to that team. The results, when this team will finish their work and give us a report, I want to assure the members of the public that once we have the report of the entire audit process of it, if any of the committee members that are working in the county government of Kericho will be found culpable to have stolen the money, then we'll be able not just to ask them to step aside, but actually take them to jail and prosecute them. Because the worst soul you can have in life is to eat from the dead. I mean, as a human being, with the consciousness in your heart, you cannot eat from funerals. You cannot eat from the dead. But we want to say that once this committee is done, they'll be able to give us a direction. The team members selected for this critical task are as follows. So these are the members that I've appointed today to be able to look into this issue. We have Mr. Chona Ketel. Chona Ketel from Belgut will be the chairperson of this team. We have Mrs. Jennifer Marusoi, who is an accountant by profession, will be in this team. We have Mrs. Milka Wangari. Milka Wangari from Tendeno will be a member of this team. We have Bishop Alvayo Omesa, will be this team. Father Sylvester Ngeno, who is in the Catholic parish at Londiani, will also be in this team. And we'll have Advocate Julius Mutai also in this team. We also have Jane Sang, who is one of the chairpersons in trade market at Londiani, will also be in this team. This team have 14 days to work, do audit, look at the money was dispatched, check if there's money which is victims that have not received the money, and they should be able to provide for us reports. I'm asking the members of the public to be able to provide written submission to this group, even as the ad hoc committee in the assembly is taking place, so that we'll have the reports from the assembly, and we also have this report, and then we'll be able then to take a firm action if anyone is found to have lost the money. I know people asking me that we need to sack people. For now, you sack people based on evidence. You don't sack people based on social media circulation. People go to cyber, they create a list somewhere there, and then they ask you to sack these people based on what is in the cyber list. I mean, we also have what you call the natural rule of law and justice. And of course, when this team now will tell us that the money was misappropriated, because I've seen even the DCI have taken over the matter, then from there, you know me, that I'm not ashamed and I will not hesitate to take drastic action immediately. But at all times, we must show maturity, we must show leadership, and we must show restraint so that we don't continue actually politicizing and even taking advantage of the issues at hand. I kindly request the public to continue being patient as the Assembly is looking into this matter and as this team is looking into this matter. Their work is to review the activities of that committee, to understand and give us how the committee conducted themselves. And if indeed the report that will come out will tell us that money was lost, then we'll be able then to act on it immediately without looking back. I just want to mention something. It's unfortunate. I've seen people running after them. People that were never even participating in the organization of the fundraising. They were never there. But suddenly, they have money. They have money to go and look for victims, to go to families that have buried their loved ones, to come and record statements. But they didn't have money to contribute to the fundraising. But now they have money and fuel. It's a big shame. It's a very big shame. Because as government, we must show leadership. As government, we must show leadership. We don't run government in a populist way. The word governor means to govern. And you don't govern people with emotions. You govern people with facts, accuracy, and with a heart that loves the people. That's why I insist that I find it shameful that people who are invited to come to committees, to organize for the fundraiser, they refuse to come to those committees. But overnight, they have money to go to families that have just buried their loved ones The flowers are not even terminated in the grapes. That they have family, people are still wanting to come record a statement, and they have money now and time to mobilize. It's so shameful. That keeps it to people. This is our culture. We don't make money and do politics out of the dead. There's nothing as painful as that one. That out of the dead we make money out of it. That we make political mileage out of it. I had said in Londiani, I don't want to talk politics about it. And that's why I never talk any politics. And even today, I can still talk politics about it. Because we're talking about 52 people buried, dead and gone, and families left without their loved ones. So we don't need to use this as a political mileage. I feel sorry for those victims that has been collected and they've been coerced from their homes to come and record statements. And you are recording statements, you have not asked the county government, is this money there or not? So that if you are saying there's no money, then you are now going to do that. That's why we are saying, let's refrain from politicizing. Politics comes and goes. But you don't need to do politics out of the dead. And I want to tell my competitors equally, that 2027 will come, don't worry, relax. And when it comes, we'll sort out these things at the parliament. Right now, it's time to work for these people. That is why, as a governor, I have fought 500 million so that we do the industrial park. And you'll see our farmers make the best through value addition. We are building a mill at Kedao. We have negotiated at Londiani Junction with the private owner of the farm, and we are almost coming to an agreement so that we buy the land and then we build a market there and move people out of the roadsides so that we protect this and be able to forestall such happenings in the future. So this is the work of government. The work of government is not to incite people. The work of government is not to take populism out of cheap politics. It's sorrowful. What am I going on? Kimoy Mucho. I get the attack while Governor Bagaricho. Keritosi, and Gamon ki give it someone week 52. Week 52 go back when come again race. I go maybe can miss a battalion again along the good. I got up to last week, come to give my guest battalion, I went or I was in time. Because the mood could be the service in your looking or children. Maybe you will get again. You see? I will take you to my nick, get on it with Jota. Like in the Gamma, Governor Wakaricho, only quite a grand committee, college and Toma get a position again, Toma get a Kigoita Rabinik, I want to meet a bishop Kigoita. Aligi committee, Kigamwa, Avasata only 10 shek, Kukashi got the government through our emergency fund, Kelly shek. I saw a bishop like 2 shek, Kuba victims, so give a Kigo victims of inequality. Kamawara are the medical expenses. We very need count Tayari, we very emotionally 52 people, we very the cost as a county government of Kericho. I gave me the expenses more than 2 million. Gunigan Golale could be corrected to Miss Vitali, gave Borchini, what I get Legaki, yet no more much could work this service in Kericho, came to other better hospitals. And that is why I'm royally 10 shake medical expenses and a building hospital took. I'm going to governor of Kericho or the Lubani County government of Kericho. I'm going to directions on the between now and Wednesday. Kono bishop too good take you. Kigoji back Kigoji victims. I got big to Miss Vitali. I can get out timid. The Bobby Tamana and one big law. Then do John Agater. Emperor withdraw. I'd be a lucky child given almost Londiani. Good team minute, Pogasi one, who got to board. You have a new game sitting a committee. So committee of the king each one. Kugona report kone in the process ko kibara fishe go nya go une magile go mi chechu kiba go na go chechu overall number report aka kaso ngwa mangetu chita because iki tike kiani mami na kede go tebra bi ga biki go be you're right so go kiti ki le bachita ne ga ko amaja go na ka shwara sa le ko miten mami anne go mo ti bi ngiro je ko sa great cap kabla ne bagere je kwa henga moy agora aya tuchikita orza una nafasi ayikabale na nywane kumoki yani kokomia fusa na kwa ni gitinye ngo nusu yenye report ba assembly kwa moyo ngena assembly wala na munge moyo ngena assembly tukusa ta bara ad hoc committee na ba assembly agora da wara da committee ibo report ti twangu na pakko nya mese una mese tengele bas kitono ni go huni amang aka masu te ko aka mwale chitano unaona mogi linji go stope na sai Kot committee they come to move your baby go back. Take care of 1 minute again. So Mogil just step aside, kill the balloon again.
Yeah.
Come back to get suspended. But suspended the unique one and they go on with the Bogamata. So how much you got in a fast team to go like one? I got some people got no meeting. I got more capacity. I got some military. All the year, Mato gas, yes. I'm one late, getting a lot of good. You get one and I'm being the overnight. You don't have an American show. I lay, and I join much about a big much together within in front of a school on a Sunday. And overnight, how much you get more? How much you look at governor? How much you go to the governor? How much you look you too to getting? How much you look at a police over? I got 10 pieces. The chocolate, how can you go, Rabbi? No one can give one. Like no organic. We can't go get one committee. Kevanga didn't have a good. Like in a goonie, could not have second. No money. The given the going to be key over it. And clearly shake the tomb of French. My wife, work with you. Who mean I've asked to go back and I'm I'll get you, you're about the settlement. Like in the middle of a happy, Kevin Rambi. Like in the middle of a chicken, I mean, surely as a community. But much ago, but caught up with cities of greater level. The kitchen is Yasa to book to one. Pocket is Yasa to book in one. Pocket is Yasa, direct. Our way which you are lazy, you are no much of an act of Tamutai, look for better strategies. What got to get go with us? Like no like is as a couple of weeks game of politician give to them. So we don't have money. Pick up your border, whom is a bishop. Over my committee despite the money. I go never get the mirror take out me money. Hold on. Can I take a balance? Can I get the money for you? What do you I got a meeting about Qatar, a Taragon meeting that you more way when I do a very good job. Well, I'm going to have people to go home. So, tomorrow you will wait. What I said, I know going to get in your markets to report on the national government. Get a chain, Egypt, say, do you? Get a Gapele, get a Gora, and go most in Bagapata. Like in the Gora or some to the Swana Langan. To get a chain, keep it, do you? I get a and Loti, we should want it. I get a executed. Tayari, I get zero. Tayari moving around it. Go on the 250 million. I'm going as a government 250 million. Ketegi, they were a county accredited zone, and go must involve Capsule. So what I never must see like a black woman that you know. Couldn't you get many storages to go to Can you get number 5 addition of Bayani, 1 addition of Wachego, 1 addition of 1 addition of Babiasin? Take out the minute, Belecton and guaranteed minimum returns. And we'll finish this within the next 6 months. Because we'll get that fantastic. Because most you work at Dawa, go contract aside the good. They take one tractor, pop the union of our deck, no organization. As again, number of should be out in take out the big of our deck as cash subsidy. We are also planning, I think, the next 1 month. Take out Gini or a commercial work of 3 million. You're much getting close to 10 million for some wood when you made up car. Market, but not going to go away. And got more go be she like do. How much is Tabiki Mujo? You know, when Mujo go to the meek or the meek, but I think I'll do some more. And these are the plans we're having as a council. Like in the Gobiga in Jamie, take it to Siasa 24/7, Tim of Kinicha. Like in the Agis or Chini. Like in the plan, you want to okay, there was some again. I guess I do, but the Mantogagi, I don't know. And almost see. So I would not assurance or the bishop to meet them, he was back to the victims. I would have waited by 1 day. I get I got a style team in which I get to you go to petition you do. You get much of it, is it? You thought committee, I thought in the assembly order, and all shall be well. So more thing I like a young, yeah, I'm not sorry. Yes. Yes, ma'am. Yeah, when the Ramona again, a lot of good commit the note families, shop to last week, we'll get identified. And there are some which have been identified. And the process is ongoing the identification. So, go on assurance, they are almost concluding the process. Because they legally almost get out, I would board that could got in border board. But the plans are there. Guys, that's again. Who are these really people that border board achieving Jordan? I said, yeah. I said, you got to be Jordan. You go to one, Japan committee, I'm going to issues. Can I'm committing the government or forensic audit, the Wakata committee in Kenya. So you have a target when you go with the government and a mortgage. You go to report to Magamas as
Yes.
Your Excellency,
yes.
What criteria did you use to choose a committee?
Committee.
Yes.
When we look into this committee, that is why my chair committee is outside. For example, Chito no one chairman John Agated. Chito no in Cheneva Maruso, accountant no. Chito no Mulga Wangari. Pongan Galega 50 she was moving the dinner. It's in your Bishop Alpha or Mess. So what's the mission of one? So I don't know. Alpha or Messa. And then get your first as Sylvan as again. Or father never Catholic parish, you know. I'll get in your advocate Julius Mutai, a legal person. I'll get in your version over the chain sang, but Jane Sango chair person the Mungare de Lodia, Elodia.
Mwanzo ulikuwa umepanga kwamba zile pesa ambazo zimechangwa zitatumika kusaidia familia za waathiriwa. Iweje kamati ambayo ulichagua mwenyewe ukateua mwenyewe ikaanza kuwa na mpango mwingine ya kutengeneza orodha ya jinsi ambavyo hela hizo zitatumika kinyume na mpango ambao ulikuwa nao awali? Na swali la pili, juzi tumeona naibu gavana akisema kwamba hela hizi zimetumika kwa njia isiyo. Na naibu gavana akiwa karibu nawe sana alikuwa hayuko kwenye mpango mara ya kwanza mkipanga, amkuketi pamoja mkapanga kwamba kwa sasa anaonekana kwamba yuko kwenye harakati za kupinga yale ambayo alikuwa amepanga.
The first question is to the effect that there are plans to pay for the tents and proper like that, isn't it? And I treat it as social media reports. Because when you look at the list, anybody can read the list. What I'm talking is, governor cannot talk propaganda. So what I've just said is that money for the tents, money for the medical expenses is met by the county. Money should go back to the... you've asked me about the deputy governor, but he wasn't the governor. I assist the governor. That is the work of the deputy governor. I wanted to come and with a report because these are people working under me. There's a problem here and here, and I think here and here is this way. Then we look together as how to solve it. But you see, we don't, as government, we don't go prosecuting government issues in funerals. It is the most weird way of sorting government issues. Cabinet, it has structures on how to relate. So, the governor, the better it is.
Kweli kwamba ile kamati bwana umeteua kamati hii.
What happened is that because now issues has been raised, right? It is only fair committee we get another independent committee to do an audit. And it's a usual government process. The audit is that they're able to tell us now the work of that car because issues has been raised. And when issues has been raised, you don't dismiss the issues. What you do now, you move further and show leadership. And that is why this committee will and tell us was money really misused or not. And if they're able to come and say, yes, we have found out the money was misused, then I can tell you from there now, we begin to charge. In fact, the question of suspending or the question of sacking those who are involved is too low. What we need is to prosecute them. Yep. Yes.
Watuka ko nenjin committee ni meeting in place to ko mira bise ko ate mo ji ne kala meter abise ata ngiyani na kyota njiga kitanga ne betu notan question age ko ngola like some part some MCS ko mo le kuno ko mo sa ta lakini ki mo gite committee notan neki function notan ki barambe. Yes.
One is that like I said that this other committee that we have formed will tell us the exact money that was collected. They also tell us the exact money that was given up and they also tell us where this money went to. Then we'll be able then to give another report on the same, right? As to the committee, who want to work aside, you will get the committee nomination.
I tell you, I'm going to take a chicken, I'm going to take you almost out and go and give me a single.
Yeah, because of that, there's some member of committees. But you know, when you know this thing happened very fast, so there was a need to have the county commissioner from the national government. We have our county secretary, Dr. Bor, and maybe help, could give me help for the purpose of the wavering of the bills. And I think that was just a small committee. So those are people that were dealing with those matters. Yeah.
Governor, enji tingala na tare im ko kamera de seto ko ka kamera to Kericho. Kimi ishukul kani ela ngatu na to jengi ro no tingo ke janga ndra biseto ko wadriwa. Ko gimma ko miten. Abisa gigi ko na ipuno ka kana. Ko amuja we kana. That is two therapy ni jana. Ali asu ko takane bol tu ko mai le tu na no ko support to jen ga programs. As mo boy. Eno lu kunan ku yuga ke gasto ngala dan dia salage. Ole main kimi majutori ten committee de tipo le tara bisa janda ko mastan ko gi engere ko gi nyalu ko mitaneri part of MCS and part of
of course definitely that is part of the committee because MCS go get big baganga and that is why I'm watching again the conduct of the committee how they operate because they get to 50 to and remember he choking the process and amugi mocho ga ni go maga ga ni like missing namugo ga ga the mochwari awaka nyane rara ko ga kabisa ugi choti ni ga jamana galia ke to that is why we put to form a committee as to person jabo maiti sure this week obviously the governor probably can control 8 billion 8 billion. Obviously, is close to 200 million. I brought 1 million to the fundraiser, and many others that have been giving out, isn't it? I will get the other say, and that is why I can leave you, Deputy Governor, young touch 1 million get. Oh, no. Come on, let me tell you. Don't do it. Like in Agma, to me, big and misapproval that I've been shot to do that committee. We'll deal with them. Yeah. Yes, please.
You mentioned here that there are some families that are coming up right now.
Yes, yes.
And it's like they were not on the original list.
Yes, yes.
Which means, therefore, that you really didn't like have a conclusive list of the people, of the victims.
Yes, yes.
So that leaves me with a question: how are you like going to distribute this money fairly? Because if there are other families that are still coming up who are not on the original list,
very good question.
Yes, and again, secondly, you mentioned of putting the bill of the hospitals of Londiani and district.
Yes.
But I remember, as per what we learned, there are some victims that were taken to some hospitals.
Nakuru. Yeah.
So what plans do you have?
And that is why you see some other counties are trying to look into them. I've talked with my sister bills at Nakuru. Here in Kericho, we are also doing likewise. Now, you have asked a very good question because families, as up to even yesterday, are still coming. That you see, not those that we lost the loved ones, but those that were, that are in the hospitals. You see, people were rushed to different hospitals, and some went to the hospital that night, and maybe after 3 days they were discharged. But then they have been taken back to the hospital because probably after shock of the accident, they are still in bed. A comprehensive list for them, so that eventually that team will be able to also support them. You see, but once that one is done, like I say, we will be very keen now to have this audit team to look into the activities of that committee as to whether they spend the money rightly or incorrectly. Then we'll be able to prosecute from there. And the assembly is also doing an ad hoc committee, which they did yesterday. And I trust the county assembly of Kericho. The other day we had another ad hoc committee on Kabyanga Tifa, and they came and told me the directors has been stealing money. And I start all of them, and you have a new team there. So it's the same process that you also going to do.
Okay, Your Excellency, maybe we have Chapter 6 of the Constitution whereby it upholds that each and every state officer must uphold Article 75, that is the conduct of any state officer. If you have issues okay, I'm also, Richie will have actually see the two process. Maybe than actually seizing an opportunity of such a disaster. When it comes to this matter, because it is actually taking the
talk well about our county so that we move forward. Yes,